The movie starts as some villains named Tharok and the persuader of the villainous group, the Fatal Five, are trying to steal the Time Ship from the Legion of Superheroes headquarters. Brainiac 5, Saturn Girl, and Starboy try to fight them back, but they are defeated. They throw Brainiac 5 out of the time ship, and after activating it, they set a travel date. In an attempt to stop them, Starboy jumps onto the ship, and he disappears along with them. Later, the ship crash lands on Earth, but in the 21st century in Metropolis, where Superman saves a kid from being hit by the ship. Starboy lands in a different place, Gotham City, where he seems to have forgotten his memories. He finds a nearby pharmacy where he asks for a mental stabilizer medicine, since his was destroyed, but he realizes the medicine doesn't exist in that past world. He ends up scaring the pharmacist, who calls the cops on him. Starboy manages to escape the cops, but outside he meets with the Batman, who apprehends him. Superman then brings the time machine to the Justice League's headquarters for analysis. 10 months later, Jessica Cruz is struggling with the trauma of a near-death experience she had by a murderer who killed her friends, making her afraid to leave her apartment. Jessie also struggles with a Green Lantern ring, which mysteriously chose her, and with visits from Wonder Woman, who keeps asking her to step up as the new Green Lantern for the Justice League. Jessie says the ring is a mistake, and it probably won't work on her, but when Diana attacks her, she instantly transforms into Green Lantern. Diana then asks her to stop screening their calls before she flies away. A voice from the power ring also encourages Jessie that she has the ability to overcome her fear. Meanwhile, in Gotham, a villain named Bloodsport is threatening President Kennedy to reveal his assassination as a hoax, or he ends some hostages he has. As he threatens the weather girl who brought him water late, a shadow goes past him and distracts him. The weather girl then takes away his gun and subdues him before revealing herself as Miss Megan Martian, who is training to join the Justice League. Bloodsport then threatens to blow the whole place with a remote, but he is stopped by an unexpected guest, Batman. Batman apprehends him and asks the shape-shifting student, Megan Martian, to do better for a chance to join the League. Elsewhere, a superhero named Mr. Terrific is having a difficult time unraveling the secrets of the time machine, which is locked. He eventually brings down the machine's shield, but ends up freeing the occupants, the 3 members of the Fatal Five group, who are excited to have arrived at the right place after seeing Superman. Superman attempts to stop them, but is wounded by Persuader's axe, and the villains escape, leaving him bleeding. Meanwhile, Batman takes Thomas alias Starboy to Arkham Prison, where the authorities are surprised his record doesn't even exist in their world. After watching news about the Fatal Five members creating chaos in the streets, Starboy's memories get triggered and he remembers his mission to stop the villains. Starboy then breaks out of Arkham, causing a riot in the prison, as the other villains like Poison Ivy and Harley attempt to escape. Batman finds Starboy escaping and is surprised that he has superpowers. Starboy then transforms into his superhero self and subdues Batman before escaping. Later, Mono, a member of the Fatal Five group, reports to their locked-up colleague, Emerald Princess, that they will soon find the key and return to free her. The Justice League discover that Superman was cut by an atomic axe, which was sharpened to less than a nanometer, which is approximated to have come from 1,000 years into the future. Batman then deduces that the Starboy is actually a superhero from the future 31st century who can control objects. The team then figure out from some clues that the 3 Fatal Five villains are after a Green Lantern in Oregon. Elsewhere, the villains are searching for Jessie, who hears from the news about their wrecking and goes out to meet them in her Green Lantern suit. They defeat and are about to capture her, but Starboy arrives just in time to stop them. Jessie tries escaping with Starboy, but the villains still find them. However, this time they receive unexpected guests, the Justice League. As a fight ensues, the Persuader carries Jessie away, and he is followed by Wonder Woman and Tharok, leaving Mono with the rest as he destroys the building. Wonder Woman and Superman rescue Jessie from the villains, and the Fatal Five are forced to regroup. In the aftermath, Starboy and Jessica form a close friendship, and he reveals he knows Jessie from his world since the Fatal Five were coming after her. Batman claims they need to know what Starboy knows, and he has Megan telepathically link Starboy's brain with his and Jessica's. Inside his memory, The three then get a view of Starboy's home in the future 31st century, with flying cars, and they see the museum for the Legion of Superheroes. They also learn about the superheroes who seem to be teenagers, which is almost Batman's worst nightmare. They also see large statues of the Justice League, and Jessie sees statues of the Green Lanterns who were lost in the ages, including herself. They also witness a battle between the Legion and the Fatal Five, which ended with the capture of Mono's lover, Emerald Empress. They also learn that Starboy is unable to concentrate without his brain-stabilizing meds, which he just lost. However, they are soon forced to awaken by Mr. Terrific, who just received a threatening message from the Fatal Five. Mono asks them to surrender the Lantern Jessica since they need her assistance or they will flatten all the cities, starting with Metropolis. That night, the villains begin to wreak havoc in the city of Metropolis, and the League heads out to help, leaving Jessie behind with Starboy. Later, Jessica is contacted by Thorok through her ring, forcing her to surrender herself to the Five to prevent further destruction. The villains then take her on a trip to the planet Oa's prison cells, which were designed by the Green Lanterns, and Jessie learns she is the key to unlocking the impenetrable cells. She pretends to be bringing in prisoners by communicating to the rings and is allowed entrance. Inside, the villains force her to open the Empress's cell, using her ring, but Lanterns Kilowog and Salak arrive to stop them. However, the villains still manage to free the Emerald Empress and another colleague, Validus, and they injure Kilowog. When Jessica fights back, Persuader cuts her ring, and she reverts back to human. As the villains leave, Emerald has her Emerald Eye of Ekron steal all the energy of the Central Power Battery, and she destroys the prison. Meanwhile on Earth, the Justice League discovers from Starboy that Jessica is missing. Later, the villains take Emerald to see the time machine, and she reveals that the way to defeat their enemies is by destroying their sun, using her eye, which now contains all the power of the Lantern's battery. Meanwhile, as the supers are heading to the time machine, Persuader cuts through their ship with his blade and the teams start to fight. Elsewhere, when Jessie wakes up, she chants a Green Lantern anthem as the ring reassembles and she regains her powers. She then pulls the other lanterns from the rubble, but her strength fails and she falls unconscious. Emerald Empress subdues the Justice League with her powerful eye, and she reveals she destroyed Jessie Lantern. However, elsewhere, Jessie wakes up in a clean room and flies off to help Earth. As the heroes lay helpless, Emerald launches her eye at the sun to destroy it and prevent the formation of the superheroes in their time. The villains then enter the time ship, but Jessica arrives just in time to stop their travel. The villains attack her, but she defeats them and brings the whole base down upon them, killing the supervillains while she safely brings the Justice League members outside. Superman then attempts to stop Emerald's eye from reaching the sun, but he fails and gets knocked away as he burns. As the sun begins to disintegrate, Starboy insists he is the only one that can hold it together, and he leaves Jessie's shield to go to the sun. Starboy then enters the sun, pulling its particles to himself, and the sun recovers while Superman and Jessie are watching in dismay. Later, back on Earth, the Justice League members commemorate Starboy's sacrifice and heroism. Brainiac 5 and the other Legion of Superheroes members from the future also join the League in honoring Starboy. Batman also informs Miss Martian that after a voting, she is now invited to join the Justice League as a full-time member, which she happily agrees. Brainiac 5 is also honored to meet Jessica Cruz as the thrilling film comes to an end. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. If you like this video, please consider subscribing to our channel. I'll be back with another interesting movie recap. Until then, take care.